Welcome to Nerd Index, and today we're going to be ranking Genshin characters in a tier list. And this is based off of, from my perspective, like character lore and how I feel about them emotionally, and then from your perspective,
a little bit more of gameplay-wise and how they feel to have on a team.
And combat. Yeah, so we're going to like mesh those opinions together into where we would place them. But first order of business is to move the travelers into don't use, because we never put them on the team. We only use them if the game forces you to use them. And then second order of business is to move Dory, because I hate her. She's so mean to Kaveh, and her voice is so annoying, and like her whole attitude and everything. She's not cool. Sorry to all the Dory fans, but she gets her own exclusion tier of hatred. How do you feel using her on a party?
She's kind of boring.
Yeah, because you have her on the friendship team right now, and like as one of the last healers.
Yeah, I don't really like healers that are ultimate reliant or burst reliant.
So the first character then to officially talk about would be Jean, and we haven't been able to utilize her very much because we only just got Jean when Natlin came out, and they allowed people to pick a standard banner character. Since she was the only one that we had left to obtain, we decided to pick her, but she hasn't been on the friendship team yet, and we haven't really finished building her, so we haven't fought with her. But she's supposed to be a support, right?
Yeah, she's kind of a healer.
Oh, she does healing?
Mm-hmm.
And you heal for when Dory is done. So I think from my impressions of like playing through the Modstat commissions and story quests and everything, that she's just like mostly neutral to me. Take it or leave it. Then we have Lisa, which I like her in theory from like being a librarian and being like a purple aesthetic and everything, and I think she's really cute, but then I also don't necessarily enjoy the sexualization of her character. So, and we haven't been using her either. She's like ready to be used for combat, but we've been putting her off for a while. She has not been on the friendship team yet.
Yeah, I don't really know how her kit works yet, so I can't speak much for it.
So maybe neutral?
Meh.
Oh, meh, okay. No, because I'm saying neutral for her actually, because meh is like Amber. Amber feels so useless now that we have like real archers, since she was such an early addition to the game. Amber's just like, I don't like her interaction with her trigger, and I don't feel like her characterization does anything for me. She's a very like, I could leave that behind. I don't need it.
Sounds good.
We have Noelle, who I think is really cute, and now that she's been on enough banners, we finally have C6, so she functions properly in combat.
Yeah, she's kind of interesting. Has a shield. Mm-hmm. Spins.
Mm-hmm. Then we have Barbara, who I would say would have been favorite if we had done this list like a year ago. She got us through a lot of the first, phases of like getting through the abyss for the first time and all those kinds of things. And I do really appreciate how she heals, being able to like just put the ring of water on anybody. So I'd say second best, only because they've definitely iterated more on healing since then.
Yeah, and I like her C6's revive.
Oh, that's so OP.
So when I forget to heal someone.
Sucrose is really cute and shy and adorable, but I think that her like animo grouping is done better by other people, so I'm just kind of neutral in general.
Her ult's pretty good, but I have more fun with other animo characters.
I know you love Fischl for the new Valette team, but I just don't see it. I watch you use her or utilize her, and I still feel like I don't get tangible damage from her, or like she's not satisfying to utilize on a team.
She's very set it and forget it off-field damage, which is very handy for a new Valette who wants to be on-field all the time.
But then like lore and personality, she's also a little cringe, so. Okay, then we have Mona, who I felt like she was supposed to be a DPS, right? Or is she off-field?
She's a support.
Oh gosh, okay, so support how? She just like does buffs? She doesn't heal. She doesn't shield.
Her ult makes an enemy take a lot more damage.
My playstyle is not usually like building up supporting things, which I know is pretty important in Genshin along with like the elemental reactions, and so she wasn't such a big hit for me personally.
I feel like when I did get to play her a little bit, and we haven't fully built her, so haven't had a full experience with her, but she's pretty strong.
I guess I should explain what the friendship team is to us, technically speaking. So like we have a team of 4 characters rotating that we are trying to build to level 10 friendship, and then once that person gets to level 10 friendship, they get booted and replaced for someone that's not level 10 friendship, and we build people up enough to be able to do daily commissions and resin usages of like beating bosses and collecting gold and XP books and stuff. So they're usually level 80. They have decent enough artifacts. They have decent enough talents, but they're not crowned or fully leveled or anything. So they're just raised enough to be able to use on the overworld. And that's the friendship team. So if somebody's been on it, they're built well enough to use, but it's not to perfection, so you wouldn't put them in like the abyss. Yeah,
it's kind of our way of making daily commissions a little bit more fun. Mm-hmm. And constantly being interesting.
And making sure that we get to fully utilize every character that we've ever pulled. Because then that way it's like, you know, if we had our way, we'd just be using Nouvellette for everything all the time. So with the friendship team, it adds more variety. It keeps us working towards different goals for different characters and all that stuff.
It's a good excuse to just kind of build everyone, which came very much in handy when they announced or released the Imaginarium.
Yeah, as soon as they released the Imaginarium, because we have so many people, we focus on pulling for the character then like instead of pulling for constellations, so we have the diversity that a lot of other people were missing for the theater. And then we also had like half of our roster built up enough for friendship team purposes that they were able to be useful in the theater already with just like a couple tweaks. We have Kaya, who I know you don't like, and I kind of don't like his personality. And then on top of that, he doesn't do the kind of damage that I feel like he should. It bothers me that they constantly put him into the trial chamber when new characters come out and they're like, oh, look at him with them. I'm like, no.
His ult's decent off-field ice. I feel like it could be fun to go a very silly build with like C6 Bennett and him and have him melt, but other than that, it's not very exciting.
And we've like rebuilt him 3 different times and it still doesn't feel better.
Yeah.
Then we have Diluc, who I think would be like Cyclist, yeah, because he does a good amount of crowd control-y DPS, which I find interesting, like with his ult and stuff, staggering people. And I think like his story quests and stuff from Modstyle were kind of funny, where he was just like vigilanteing, if I remember correctly, but suffers from being a Modstat character, so.
Yeah, his ult is fun, but also super annoying.
Because you have to chase after people.
Yeah.
And we have Razor, who we have not used yet, and don't really have feelings about. I don't know why, but that tends to be a lot of Electro people for us, apparently. Bennett, I personally don't like, and I find the radius of his ult frustrating, but I know that he slots into, like, every beneficial team comp ever, so...
He fills 2 pretty important slots, a healer and a buffer, but yeah, staying in his circle is really annoying.
Yeah.
So he's going to be neutral.
I'll say I've just spotted Aloy, and we need to move her to the don't have, because we were not around at the time when that happened. So we do not have her, we have no impressions. Then we have Ningguang, who I'm like meh about, because I just feel like I don't understand where to put her, or like how to use her, or get anything done.
She has an interesting concept of her wall blocking projectiles, but there's not enough enemies that use projectiles for her to be useful to dance around a wall for. She does, however, mark ores in the overworld, which is pretty useful, and that's about it.
She goes mining.
Yes, she's on the mining team.
Then we have Beidou, who, again, we have not put on the friendship team yet. We have not experimented with. I know that a lot of people like her, so we'll see how it goes when we finally do get around to utilizing her. We're at the point where we're gonna end up with like a full Electro friendship team for like 2 cycles.
They release enough new characters, it'll be fine.
Yeah, but if they keep releasing new characters for Natlin, we'll just keep slotting in the Natlin people and never slot the Electro people in. And then we have Keking, who, when we first started playing, was like my absolute favorite right after Alhaitham. And she definitely is still really cool, but at the same time, I think that she doesn't feel like the same level of DPS as everyone from Sumeru and Fontaine. So like putting her on a team feels a little frustrating now. And there's so many people that do
the dash.
Yeah, thank you.
So
she's second best now, I think.
That's fair.
She's suffering from not being able to be as usable in combat, and there is definitely the potential that we need to rework her a little bit, definitely around the artifacts.
Yeah, she suffers from early artifact building.
But I loved her so much that we crowned her, so maybe she is still a favorite.
She's got ears.
She's gonna be low favorite, and she's purple. So for Jingling, I feel like her aesthetic is really cool with like being a cook and having her bear and everything, and she's actually really useful in a lot of team comps, and so I think that she's in the second best area.
Keeping her enough energy recharge is kind of annoying, but
Yeah.
other than that, it's fine.
Chongyun is interesting when we had him on the team, but I also feel like he's just kind of one of those people that we finished friendshipping him and I just moved on and I don't care, and we never slot him into anything else. So he's almost meh for me.
No. His kit's interesting. His little circle that infuses anyone that doesn't have an infusion already with ice could make some fun team comps. Also, he's one of the few people that I think buffs attack speed, although it might only be of Claymore users.
For Jinkyu, it was like I didn't realize how to use him for the longest time, and then finally read the paperwork behind his talents and stuff, and then realized that he's actually really good for supporting with the ult in particular. From that perspective, I think he's actually kind of in second best, even though we don't use him as much anymore. I still think that we could be utilizing him better, and you just end up liking Yulon more because they do similar purposes. But he's also really cute and loves books and stuff, so
yeah, he's kind of cool. It's hard, again, kind of same field as Jingling, of having to keep enough energy recharge for them to have their ult up constantly is annoying.
So for Chi-Chi, we have the curse of constantly pulling her off the standard banner. She's pretty constellated, but she's still not fun to use.
Meh.
We don't have Venti, but I don't like him. His personality sucks, so he'd probably be in the Dory column if we had him.
I like the idea of Venti because his ult groups. However, the Abyss is built for not grouping, although the Imaginarium he could be really good at. But we don't have him, so I don't know for sure.
And then Klee is absolutely adorable, especially the outfit that they gave her. I want it so bad, but I don't want to spend money on something like that. And I feel like she does a lot of damage, but you feel like you don't want to use her. And so I don't know if that means that then that turns her into neutral. Because every time that I feel like we're in a Klee situation, you're like, no, I'll find someone else.
I feel like her trigger is hard to use. But other than that, she's not terrible.
I feel like just because we don't use her, it has to be neutral.
Okay.
Child we don't have. I've been ambivalent about his character and lore, so I just have not felt motivated enough, even though I am a tall man collector. So I don't know if I'll ever care enough. Diona. We can't put all the cats in the top.
Yes, we can.
No. I think that her animations for throwing the drink and stuff onto the field is really cute, and being a cat is really cute and everything. So.
And she's a bow.
Yeah, she's an archer.
She heals and shields. Mm-hmm. Not many characters
Have this much
do
versatility.
a lot of healing and shielding.
Yeah.
Some have a little bit of shield or healing with their shields, but
So she's pretty fun. Then we have Zhongli, which is S tier, wonderful. He was one of the first characters that I saw marketing for Genshin and started to know what Genshin was. And originally I came in wanting to play Genshin finally because our friends were like, he's gonna rerun soon, you gotta get in here and get ready. And then I ended up falling in love with Al Hytham, and I didn't get Zhongli for a long time after that. So the classic Genshin story of other banners suddenly take priority. But his shield is absolutely OP. Isn't it like the best shield in the game?
Yeah, pretty much.
And his ult is fun, and I don't know, everything. And he's a dragon!
He's good at mining.
He yearns for the mines.
Yes.
So for Xinyan, we got her pretty early on in playing Genshin, and I felt like she was really fun, and like it was really nice having her shield, and her ult was cool, and I love AoE damage in the first place, and like her being a little rock star and stuff is cool and fun. So we ended up crowning her as a 4-star. You know, which now obviously knowing more about the game and stuff feels a little silly, but I still feel like she's one of my favorites.
She can go all the way up to the top.
I mean, for me, I think you should put Zhongli at the front though.
Her ult does big numbers, but I wish her shield did a little bit more pyro off field.
Oh, does
application.
Does it sit there and like burn people while it's on?
Every now and then, but not very often.
Okay. We don't have Albedo. I don't like him. I don't know why. I can't tell. He just rubs me the wrong way. So probably wouldn't pull for him. You love Ganyu. I don't like Ganyu. She is so slow. Oh my goodness. I can't stand it.
I've been using her as an off-fielder with her ult and her trigger for a melt team. If we want to put her in second best, I guess we could.
I would. There are better archers.
Zhao.
We do not have him. He is really cool. We don't have Hu Tao. She's not so cool. I don't know. Her like characterization and like all of the rapping and stuff. I just sit there and I get really exhausted trying to read her dialogue and everything. I feel like I don't know anything about Rosaria, even though I've seen her, you know, in a decent, like, everything, everywhere she's shown up in the game, but like, I have no information to form a true impression, and we have not put her on the friendship team, so we have not used her yet, so she just gets to sit and languish. Yanfei is one of my favorite. I would not say favorite because we also haven't gotten to use her yet, but second best, because like there was a mission where we got to use her as a trial character like through the whole mission, and it was so much fun. I loved it, and then we finally got to pull her on a banner, and I was so happy. Yeah,
she seems cool as a 4-star and good pyro application for a DPS, so could be fun.
We have Eula, who we pulled for because everybody's always like, she never runs, so we were having FOMO, but we haven't used her yet, and she's the physical damage person, isn't she? So I'm like, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, I don't know either. Might stick her with Chungyun just to give her ice powers.
And we have Kazuha, who I was really reluctant to pull for a very long time. Favorite?
He OP! He collects all the drops into one little area, so you don't have to run around anymore.
Just because he makes collection of drops easier does not mean he is a favorite. I think that is a bold statement.
He also groups everyone together so that they can't hit the stupid monument when you have to protect it in the abyss.
I didn't know you liked Kazuha this much.
And also, he shreds people's resistances.
He does?
Yeah.
Oh, well. He came along at the point where, like, we were starting to learn how to use support people better, and I still just couldn't bring myself to care enough. So he would not be in the favorite tier for me personally.
Too bad.
Well, okay.
He's useful.
We have Ayaka, who I felt like was really fun to play with, like her ult and everything, and she's also just like really cute, and her outfit from the event that they gave to her was really cute. She's just adorable.
She was really nice for traversal back in the day.
Oh yeah, because you can just go into the ice
dash
form.
Goes for so long. Also, it's kind of interesting that she infuses her weapon by dashing.
Mm-hmm. I know where you're gonna put Yoimiya already.
I mean,
I think from a personality perspective, she's not my favorite, but there's also not necessarily anything wrong with her. But her kit is really cool. I love people that will infuse their weapons with their elements so that I don't have to worry about like charging the bow or anything like that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. She's an archer that kind of plays like a catalyst user, which is fun. I just wish her ult was a bit more useful. And her story missions are always great.
Seiyu is another one that's absolutely adorable. She's sleepy all the time and she's hungry all the time, and she runs around with her little like tanuki outfit. It's just so cute. And she rolls.
She rolls.
She spins.
Her roll is really fun for traversal.
Then we have Raiden, who we have not pulled for, but I really like her whole aesthetic, her entire Archon story, being purple. And she's just really pretty and really cool. And like, I'd like to have her, but we keep reprioritizing other people.
Yeah, she seems cool. All of our trials that we've done for her make me want her to get eventually on a team. I have not used that one yet.
That's Sarah. Yeah, we have not put her on a team. We like got her really early, but then just felt like we didn't have a team to put her on that early, and then she kind of just fell by the wayside, as do most other Electro people. Kokomi is really good. She's pretty OP as a healer, and she's pretty cute.
She got a jellyfish.
Yeah, her whole aesthetic matches like her entire like part of the map, and that's also really cool. Toma is probably like a second best area for me. I think that, you know, he's really nice and like showed us around as the traveler when we first got to Inazuma and stuff, and so like there's warm fuzzies related to all the story stuff that we did. And then, you know, now later on, as like we were able to pull on banners that he was a part of, we've been able to utilize him more as a shielder, and I think that his relationship with Ayato is also cute.
Oh my. He was kind of neutral for me, but as they're releasing more characters that deal with burning and fire related reactions, he is moving up.
We do not have Ito, and again, this is another tall man that I'm having like conflict over wanting to collect but not wanting to, because he's such a man-child. Like, I love his look and being Oni and everything, but then like his personality just really bothers me. So, and he's Geo. He's like one of those, you know, initial Geo characters that they put out that just feel like they don't do anything, or like they hadn't figured out how to make Geo characters yet. And so, yeah. Then we have Goro, who we have, but we have not used. And like, I mean, he's cute and everything, but he's also that same Geo feeling to me, like he doesn't do anything, so I just don't feel motivated to use him.
I think he has some interesting aspects as a support, but I haven't looked into his kit enough.
Shenhe is like, so we don't have her, but she's really pretty, and her story with the like adaptal spirits and stuff was really cool. But yeah, we've passed her over for other ice people in the past, and now she just doesn't rerun anymore. So Yoonjin for me is like a neutral.
Mm-hmm.
And which team was it that she ended up being utilized the best on?
I was going to use her for a Yoimiya team.
Oh, okay.
Because she increases attack speed, and Yoimiya likes increased attack speed.
Right. So we have not pulled for Yaemiko. We continuously neglecting Electro characters. Yeah, when she ran, I think we didn't have any primos at the time, and you liked her, but I didn't, so I was just kind of like, we're not gonna try that hard for this one. Then we have Ayato. He does a really good Vaporize team with Toma. I think he's more neutral because there's definitely better water DPS people, but he was fun to play while he was on the friendship team.
Yeah, he's kind of interesting, but not too great.
Then we have Yelan, who I think is in like the favorites.
She runs so fast.
She does. She runs really fast. This was back in the day where someone just like running fast was like traversal peak. And then, you know, obviously her ult is really useful. So she and Yoimiya can go together on a team and be really good. And she also helped us in the Abyss quite a lot, so. And we have Shinobu, who's also in the favorites category. She is a very OP healer, but it's also like very easy to make a mistake with her low health and just kill her in the Abyss on accident.
Only a few Abyss resets because of that.
Yeah. But she's pretty fun. Then we have Heizo, who like ignores his weapon for martial arts most of the time, which is actually kind of interesting to me, but he is pretty neutral in general. Because like we used him and then finished his level 10 friendship, and he was another one where we just moved on with our lives and don't think about him anymore, and we don't put him on anything else.
Yeah, he's fun. I just don't get enough use out of an Animo DPS right now.
And we have Tanari, who is absolute favorite archer, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's better than
He does have a
Yoimiya.
tail though.
And his ears, he's so cute, and he's so smart, and he's just like great. He's part of the Sumeru 4. I think he's adorable.
He's cool.
Then we have Kole, who we have, but we have not used. and I don't feel motivated to use. Then there's Sino, who we do not have. Okay, so then we have Candace, who we have not built or used. Nailu, who is on our Bloom team, and she's so cute, and her dancing and everything, and I think that, you know, the way that she interacts with being on a Bloom team is fun.
It's cool when they make characters that transform reactions like that.
And we have Nahida, who I was really, like, hesitant to pull for. She was another one of those where I would do the trial and I couldn't feel, like, the tangible, like, whatever she was doing. But she also ended up being really, like, strong on the Bloom team for us. So I'm glad that we did get her in the long run, but I don't think she's a favorite. She's, like, a second best to me.
The way that she can harvest flowers from a distance is very nice.
So for Layla, I think she's absolutely adorable. There's so many of them where they're so moe and they're so cute. She's like, it's hard because we don't use her on anything else. So she's technically not in the second best, but like I have lots of like emotional attachment. So she doesn't feel neutral either.
She's fun. She works well with Clorind because her shield does more damage the more people get to use their skill.
I have Wanderer who can freaking fly. You're neutral. Oh dear.
What, do you like him?
I think he's better than average, personally. And his story is rather interesting and like interconnected with Raiden and everything. So
I think he fits up here.
I think so. Then we have Farazan, who is like so snarky in the... Oh my. I don't know if I'd say favorite.
You were just saying you liked her.
And her outfit's really cool.
Her outfit's cool. Her ult's cool. She does lots of damage.
Mm-hmm. So now you need to put Alhaitham at the actual front of favorites because that is like the person that I play Genshin for. He's so wonderful and I ship him and Kaveh pretty hard, and I think that like his kit is really interesting and I love like, you know, messing with the mirrors and getting the ult to do more and all that. So
yeah, his kit's fun, how you can choose if you want to do more normal attack damage or if you want to do more ult damage, depending on when you trigger to generate mirrors for him.
I think Yao Yao would be like a second best. Her little like rabbit friend is so cute, and I tend to lean more towards Dendro. And there's Dea, who is meh to me just because like it's another kit that I really don't understand.
What is there to understand? You ult and then you mash the trigger to death.
And like we only just put her on the friendship team, so I'm only really like seeing her active.
She's climbing
now.
the ladder.
Some of her story missions were kind of cool because she'll like swoop in to save the day and stuff. Okay, so for Mika, I'm just like meh. I really don't care.
Haven't really done anything with him.
We have him, but we have not built him, and I don't give too much of a crap. Baizu is absolutely in the favorites section.
He's a little snake.
The snake is so cute. Oh my goodness. And he's a really good healer, so.
Yes. He's on all the teams.
Then we have Kaveh, who would only be anywhere because of his personality and lore and not because of his kit, because his kit's just kind of just meh to use.
It's interesting the way that he can change the blooms, but it's hard to get a lot of blooms on field for him to do anything with.
It's like too much effort and it doesn't feel worth it.
Although his spinning charge attack is very funny.
And like the briefcase that he created,
yeah,
it's so cute. Kirara is also in the favorites tier. Being able to climb with her is so useful, and she's also just incredibly cute, and she's another cat character.
Are we gonna put any cats not in the not favorites?
Diona's already not in the favorites. Oh my god.
We need to reprioritize.
Lainey is just neutral to me, if not a little meh, but his kit is frustrating and he's just a little stinker, so.
I think his kit's pretty fun.
Then we have Lynette, who is another cat, and she's adorable. It's Lainey's sister, but we also haven't used her for much of anything, so.
He's better than Lainey.
Yeah. And we have Freminette, who we have but have not built, but he seems like he would be fun once he gets on the friendship team. Nouvelette! Oh my goodness. Another tall man, another DPS. His charged trigger ability is so good. Put him at the front. What are you doing? With Al. And he's also a dragon, which is great. He's wonderful. 10 out of 10.
It does too much damage.
Risley, his boyfriend. No, he's probably like second best to neutral. Once we finally figured him out, he was pretty fun when he was on the friendship team, but he's also another person that's like, he feels very situation based for us to use him outside of that. Then you have Farina, who goes on the Nouvelette team and does a lot of supporting.
She buffs everyone's damage a lot.
Yeah, so she's very useful, but I didn't super enjoy her storyline, so I'm not emotionally connected to her, but I know that she's important to team building. Charlotte, I would say, is like in the second best area. She was like, we pulled her not expecting anything, and she was a really nice surprise. She functions really well, and she does cool animations, like taking pictures and stuff, so.
Yeah, she's funny. She takes pictures, and her kit's kind of fun.
Navia, I would say favorite section.
She goes all the way up there.
Her story was fun. Well, depressing, but fun. And she is really pretty. And she was like one of the first Geo people besides Zhongli that I felt like I actually liked how her kit functioned.
Her shotgun is very satisfying.
Yeah.
The Gunbrella.
Chevreuse, who we only just pulled, so we have not used her for anything. And I don't know really what she does. Now we have Zhang Yun, who I think was like really another traversal surprise when she came out for us of like, I knew that being able to leap would be useful, but it ended up like being able to go further and do more like uphill than I was expecting, so it's been really nice.
Yeah, she's really fun to travel around with, and her making plunging attack actually do something and be usable is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Haven't really gotten to use it too much though.
Because she came out with Gaming, and that made it like way better to use him too. Way more fun together, who I believe was the next. So Gaming was really fun when he came out, but we haven't utilized him very much.
He's kind of fun. Slammy fire damage.
His tiger thing makes such a weird noise though. Yeah. Chiori,
best character.
Her whole aesthetic is really cool, and her whole storyline was really cool, and she's so pretty.
And her trigger getting reactivated to switch to the next character is really, really fun and useful when you're making lots of switches.
So Arlecchino, I wasn't expecting to like her, but she ended up being really OP. I don't personally like to mess with people that lock their health bar and like have conditional healing and stuff, but I know that you like the challenge.
She's fun and she does a lot of damage. It is a little annoying that you can't heal her when she's off field, but other than that, it's pretty good.
And we have Clorinde, who I thought was like an interesting way that they utilized the guns for her aesthetic, but also like not making it an official weapon and stuff.
Yeah, it is kind of funny how they're trying to implement new weapons without having to make new weapons.
We go in second best.
You want to go in second best?
Second tier.
Tier 2.
Seguin is a good healer, but also just kind of not someone that we slotted in to like a permanent go-to team.
Yeah, she's fun.
Sethos, I felt like once we actually had him, his version of archery and stuff wasn't the best. He's also just like Sino with a bow with its storyline and stuff, so it kind of just felt a little redundant and a little disappointing.
He's cool that his arrows pierce, but also I have Clorinde for that, so kind of meh.
It's one of those that I'm like, didn't truly need after all. Emily, which everybody was like, oh, don't pull for, but she's so good. And she's really pretty, and if they just hadn't made the slit of her dress so high, I think that it would have been cool to cosplay her and everything. I think that it's really one of those things where the game doesn't get balanced per se, and so like you kind of just have to go with the flow of their releases, because knowing that they will build off of it, not being like, oh, there's nothing here now. And that's definitely what they're doing with Natlin, is they're making her more and more usable.
Her burning damage was pretty good before Natlin, but yes, it's gotten even better now.
With Mualani, I felt like I really liked her from like all of the character development and stuff, and like the traversal with her shark, but then using her in combat is kind of frustrating.
Feels a little clunky. Her shark is very fast.
Kachina, I wasn't expecting to like as much as I do, so I think that it's really nice to be able to climb walls with her, and I think that for one of the like small child type characters, she's not as annoying as I was worried about, so she ended up being pretty good.
I like her because you could fly into a wall, grab onto it, and then switch to her, and then go climb really fast.
And then Kanish ended up being like really good damage, as well as traversal, and just another Dendro person, and Dendro is really fun, and he does burning.
And he got a dragon!
And he has a dragon, although Aja is a little frustrating. He's like a second Paimon, just angrier.
And he's fun to use, because you swing and you spin around in circles.
So that's our final tier list for Genshin characters. We have 2 teams that are like constructed of our most favorite characters being like the Bloom team and the New Villette team. And obviously we're really excited for them to keep releasing like new and interesting kits in Natlin and finding out what the next banner will be and all that. And let us know who your favorite Genshin characters are and who you tend to not use as much and who you may be looking forward to pulling as the new banners come out. And if you're having fun, make sure to like and subscribe.